Hey y'all, thanks for showing up to your mat today. My name is Leah, and today's practice is going to be focused on legs and other strengthening poses. So if you're ready, go ahead and start in child's pose with your shins down on the mat and your forehead moving towards the mat. Your arms out in front of you. Sink in, open your knees wide, let your chest drop down. Bring your focus to your breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Begin to lengthen that breath and smooth it out so it's not choppy or erratic. Just take a moment to notice this quality of breath and try to maintain this quality of breath as we move through practice. On your next inhale, you're going to rise up to all fours like a kid about to crawl, so your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips, and on your inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, arch your back. And as you exhale, tuck your chin into your chest, round your spine. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, lift your tailbone up. Exhale, tuck your chin into your chest, tuck your tailbone down. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, drop your belly low. Exhale, tuck your chin into your chest, pull your belly in towards your spine. And then come to a neutral spine here. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, press your hips back, downward facing dog. Your hands are about shoulders width apart, your feet are about hips width apart. You are pressing down into all 10 fingertips and you're grounding your heels towards the mat. Even if you have to have a slight bend in your knees because it's early in the practice and you're a little tight. Now you can find some movement here, maybe walking out your dog, dropping one heel and then the other, or shifting your hips from side to side. And then find a moment of stillness. Press your hips towards the back of the mat. Feel the stretch in your shoulders. And then inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Step your feet up to the front of the mat. Nice and wide, grab opposite elbows. Tuck your chin into your chest and hang out here in Ragdoll Pose. Again, if it's comfortable, you can put a slight bend in your knees. And then drop your hands. Let them hang heavy as you roll one vertebrae at a time all the way up to standing. Let your head come up last. And as you exhale, you're going to roll your shoulders down your back. Bring your right hand to your belly, your left hand to your heart. Wiggle your feet about hips width apart. Close your eyes if that does not screw with your balance. You're going to ground your heels down, lift your kneecaps up, tuck your tailbone so that your pelvis is neutral. Pull your belly into your spine to maybe find a little bit of length here. Stand up a little bit taller, let your shoulder blades slide down your back. Create some space in between your shoulders and your ears as you lift the crown of your head up to the sky. Relax your jaw. Relax the skin on your forehead. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, open your eyes, let your hands drop, and on your inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward, fold down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, your hands go flat, your feet step back. You're in a high plank right here. Your heels are moving back, your shoulders are moving forward. You're pressing up out of your shoulder blades, so the space in between your shoulder blades is doming up. Pull your belly muscles in, find some strength here, and then decide if you want your knees on or off the mat as you lower down. You're going to shift your shoulders forward so your elbows stay over your wrists. Lower everything down. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Elbows are tight to your sides. Inhale, lift your head and your chest for Cobra Pose. And then exhale, lower down. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale, cobra number 2. Exhale, lower down. Press the tops of your thighs down into the mat. Inhale, cobra number 3. Exhale, lower down. Lighten your hands. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, just using your back muscles. Exhale, lower back down. And then one last time, inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, cobra pose. Maybe you lift your hands an inch off the mat. Maybe you take your hands back along your sides. Maybe you lift your feet. Maybe you lift everything up with your inhale, and then exhale, lower back down. You're going to press your hips back onto your heels for another child's pose. Take a breath here. And then inhale, come up to all fours, cross your ankles, roll over them. You're going to come into a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. While you're here, close your eyes. Maybe you do some neck rolls. Either little half circles, or if it feels good, you can do full circles. Moving nice and slow, noticing where there's tension in your neck. Maybe hanging out there for a moment or two, see if it releases. And then you're going to come up to a neutral spine, and you're going to close your eyes and imagine that there is fog coming up out of the floor. And it begins to rise and get thicker with every inhale and every exhale. Find that neutral pelvis. Lift your abdomen up out of your pelvis so you're nice and tall. Your belly's engaged. Your shoulders are relaxed. The fog begins to rise up. As the fog rises, notice what color it is. What temperature is it? Does it have a smell or a taste? And just imagine this fog of good vibes starts to rise up to your shoulders, to your ears. While you continue to breathe and the fog continues to rise, bring your hands out in front of you, and you're just going to roll your wrists. Your arms can be straight out, your elbows can be bent. It's whatever feels good for you. You're just going to start to roll your wrists, either circles, half circles, figure eights. It really does not matter. It's whatever feels good for you. And then once the fog is up above your head and it's really thick around your hands, you're going to open up your hands, spread your fingers wide, really stretch. And as you roll your wrists, you're going to start to clench your fists. And as you inhale, you're going to clench. And as you exhale, you're going to expand, stretch your fingers back open. Inhale, clench. Exhale, open. You're still rolling your wrists while you do that. You can keep your arms still, or you can incorporate some movement here, whatever feels good, whatever feels natural for you. And your eyes are staying closed, and this kind of makes you feel a little less silly because you can't see yourself, you can't judge yourself. But as you're grasping this fog and pushing it away, imagine that you're reaching, you're pulling all the good vibes in, and as you exhale, you're pressing all the bad vibes away. So you're taking what you need from the fog, and then as you exhale, you're expanding, you're pressing those bad vibes away, and they're just being dissolved by that fog. So you're reaching deep in, you're grabbing what you need, inhaling, and as you exhale, just push it away, expand. Inhale to grab, exhale to release, still rolling your wrists here. So you're getting this stretch, you're getting this movement, you're finding this flow that is connected with your breath. Moving in whatever way feels good. Maybe you start to add some movement to your pelvis, to your spine, to your shoulders. Maybe you lift your head up and expand your chest with your inhale. And as you exhale, you kind of tuck your chin and close in. A few more breaths here. Bringing the good vibes in, pressing the bad ones out. Taking what you need from the fog and letting go of what you don't. And then gently, you're going to slow this movement down and start to bring your hands to your knees. And when your hands are comfortably rested on your knees, the fog will go back down into the floor. It'll disappear. Take one big, deep cleansing inhale. Exhale, release any tension. Inhale, you're going to start to open your eyes. You're going to come back onto all fours. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, cow pose. Exhale, tuck your chin into your chest, cat pose. Notice if this feels different. Hold this cat pose with your rounded spine. Continue to breathe, but shift your hips back an inch or 2 or 3 until you feel a nice stretch in your low back. And then come back to center. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, downward facing dog. Maybe you find some movement here. But wherever you are, tuck your chin into your chest, relax your head, relax your neck. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Step your feet up to the front of the mat. Your feet are hips width apart. You're going to drop your butt and bend your knees, but don't go more than 90 degrees. Arms are back along your sides. Inhale, sweep up for a wide-legged chair pose. Your arms can be reaching out in front of you, or you can bring your hands to prayer at the center of your chest if you want to give your shoulders a break. Check out your knees. Make sure that they are over your ankles. You're grounding your pinky side, your blade side of your feet down into the ground. And without really moving your knees, you want to think about pressing them out. And as you do that, you're going to feel the outside of your hips, your gluteus medius, engage. Is it possible to sink your hips a little bit lower? Is it possible to raise your chest a little bit higher? Maybe you lift your toes here and wiggle them and then set them all back down. As you inhale, straighten your legs. Drop your hands down. You're going to interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Press your arms straight. Lift your head and your chest. If this is not comfortable, you can modify by grabbing opposite forearms. Either way, you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. You're opening your chest up. Deep inhale, and then you'll exhale, release. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, get some length. And then as you exhale, your hands go flat to the mat, your feet step back, you're in a high plank. You can lower to your own degree, so all the way down for cobra or halfway for upward facing dog. Either way, lift your head and your chest up. Exhale, move into downward facing dog. On your inhale, you're going to lift that right foot up to the sky. As you exhale, step it to the front of the mat. Stay on your back toes. Your feet are about hips width apart for stability. Arms go back along your sides. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. And as you exhale, is it possible to sink your hips a little bit lower? That front knee is reaching forward, your back heel is reaching back, your hips are sinking down, your shoulders are relaxed. Inhale to reach. Exhale, your hands go flat to the mat, that right foot steps back. Your version of a vinyasa, lower to your own degree. Lift your head, lift your chest, exhale, downward facing dog. We'll get the other side. Inhale, that left foot lifts. Exhale, step it to the front of the mat. Stay on your back toes, arms go back along your sides, and then inhale, sweep up, reach up, lift up. Exhale, sink a little bit lower. Remember to create some space in between your shoulders and your ears. Lift that back knee up a little bit higher. On your next inhale, you're going to reach. Exhale, hands go flat. Left foot steps back, vinyasa. If you don't want to lower, you can skip it. You can save your energy. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now we're going to take a few breaths. We're going to take a rest. If this downward facing dog does not feel like a rest to you, find something that does. You can put your knees down, you can come to all fours, you can take a child's pose. Whatever your body needs. On your next inhale, you're going to lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, step your feet up to the front of the mat. Hips width apart, drop your butt, bend your knees. Inhale, wide-legged chair pose. Once you come into this chair pose, check your alignment. Make sure your knees are over your heels. See if it's possible to sink your hips lower. Again, keeping your knees in line. Think about pressing them out, and when you do that, you will activate your gluteus medius. If it's possible, maybe you put all the weight onto your left foot, and you can lighten your right foot. Maybe you lift your right heel. Maybe you lift your right foot. Maybe you extend that right leg. Whew. Set it down. And if that did not totally suck, maybe you want to get the other side. So weight is on the right foot. Lift your left heel. Maybe you lift your left foot. Maybe you extend that left leg. And then set it down on the mat. Inhale to straighten. Interlace your fingers at the small of your back. This time have bent elbows. So you're pressing your knuckles into your tailbone. You're squeezing your elbows together, and you're just going to press your hips forward and drop your head back. Oh, come back up to neutral. Release your hands on your inhale. You're going to reach them up to the sky, and as you exhale, fold forwards towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands go flat, feet step back. Your version of a vinyasa, whatever that looks like for you. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, move into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right foot up to the sky. Exhale, step it up to the mat. Stay on your back toes. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, sink low. So from here, you're going to bring your hands to prayer. Maybe walk that back foot in a little bit. And you're going to hinge forward, lift that back leg. Come into warrior 3 with your chest parallel to the mat. Now drop that right hand down. Lift your left hand up to the sky. half moon. From here, you're going to start to bend that standing leg until you can get your left foot flat to the mat, and you're going to have your pinky side parallel with the back of your mat. And then lift your chest up, warrior two. So your chest and your torso are facing the left. Your gaze is over that right middle finger. Keep that front knee reaching forward. Take a breath here. On your inhale, straighten that right leg. As you exhale, hinge forward, drop your right hand down, lift your left hand up to the sky. Triangle pose. You're not grabbing for your leg or the floor. You're just using your torso to hold yourself up so that right hand is lightly floating. And then inhale, come all the way back up. You're going to grab your hips, turn that right foot so it is parallel with the front of the mat. Press your hips forward, drop your head back, and then exhale, forward fold. You can bring your hands to the mat if you'd like, and you can hang out right here if you want to rest. If you want something a little bit more challenging, you're going to bring your head to the mat. So your head and your hands make a triangle. From here, you can begin to lift your feet either straight up to the sky, or maybe you rest your knees on the back of your arms. Maybe you lift your legs up to the sky. If you lifted them, come back. Bring your feet back to the mat. Lift your head up, meeting everyone that did not go any further. Grab your hips, lift your head and your chest up. Turn your right foot towards the front of the mat. Bend that right knee, come back into warrior two. Take an inhale. As you exhale, windmill your hands down, right foot steps back. High plank, lower to your own degree. Upward facing dog or cobra with your inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left leg. Exhale, step it to the front of the mat. Stay on your back toes, make sure they're nice and wide for stability. Arms go back along your sides. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, sink low. Take a breath. And then you're going to maybe step that back foot in a little bit. And you're going to hinge forward, lift that back leg. Warrior three. Left hand moves down towards the mat. Right hand moves up towards the sky. Balancing half moon. Start to bend that left knee so that you can reach your right foot down to the mat. Pinky side of that right foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Inhale, rise up into warrior two. On your next inhale, straighten your front knee. Exhale, reach forward. Triangle pose. That left hand floats effortlessly when you engage your core. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. Your gaze is wherever it is comfortable. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Left foot, turn so it is parallel with the front of the mat. Grab your hips, press them forward, drop your head back, and then exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands down to the mat. If it is comfortable, stay right here for a rest, or lower your head down by stepping your feet a little bit wider. Remembering to make a triangle, your head being the tip of the triangle, your hands being the bottom two corners. This will help with stability. Maybe you have the core strength to just lift your legs straight up to the sky, or maybe you help yourself to get there by bringing your knees to the back of your arms, using them as a shelf, maybe just lifting one foot at a time. Remember, it is okay to fall. It is natural to fall. We fall when we are learning. The best thing we can do is just smile, laugh at ourselves, and come back to the last comfortable pose we were in. So if you lifted, start to come back. And you're going to land in that wide-legged forward fold. And we're going to catch our hips, lift our head and chest up, turn that left foot forward, bend that left knee, warrior two once more. Inhale and then exhale, windmill your hands down to the mat. Left foot steps back, high plank, lower down, upward facing dog or cobra if you choose. Exhale, move into downward facing dog. And we're going to take a couple breaths. And so if this downward facing dog does not feel like a rest to you, find something that does. Come back to your breath. Taking that deep, slow inhale. And exhaling long and soft. Finding an ease and control in your breath. And then if you found another resting pose, start to make your way back into a downward facing dog. So that you can lift your heels on your next inhale, bend your knees on your exhale, step your feet up to the front of the mat. Keep your hands flat on the mat, bring your toes to the back of your wrists, so maybe you tickle your wrists with your little wiggly toes. Even if you have to bend your knees, I want your hands flat on the mat. And you're going to imagine that you're pressing the floor away from you. You're looking down at a spot in between your hands. And imagine that you are pressing away. Maybe lift your toes up. Maybe you lift the balls of your feet. Maybe you lift your heels. Wherever you are, you're going to keep pressing down into all 10 fingertips. And then you're going to drop your butt, bend your knees, don't go more than halfway. Arms go back along your sides, and as you inhale, rise up to a wide-legged chair. Turn your toes out, squat your butt down. You can have your hands down on the mat, or you can bring your hands to prayer at the center of your chest. Press your elbows into your knees. Open up your hips a little bit wider. And then hands come to the mat. Straighten your legs, forward fold. Wiggle your feet about hips width apart. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands go flat. Your feet step back, high plank. Lower if you choose. Skip it if you'd rather. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right foot up to the sky. Exhale, step it to the front of the mat. Stay on your back toes. Arms go back along your sides. Inhale, crescent lunge. All right, so from here, you're going to hinge forward, lift that back leg. As you exhale, hands go flat to the mat. Tuck your chin into your chest, lift that left leg nice and high. As you inhale, come back to warrior three. As you exhale, hands go flat to the mat. Left leg lifts. Inhale, come back to warrior three. Remember, if you fall, if you stumble, just smile at yourself. One last time, hands go flat to the mat. Lift that left leg as high as you can, and then step it down to the mat. Step your feet nice and wide. Grab opposite elbows. Hang out in Ragdoll Pose. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands go flat. Your feet step back, high plank. You know the drill, your version of a vinyasa. Inhale, exhale. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the front of the mat. Arms go back along your sides. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, sink down low. Hands come to prayer. Lift that back leg. Hinge forward. Find your balance. And then exhale, hands go flat to the mat. Right leg lifts. Tuck your head. Tuck your chin. Relax your neck. Inhale, lift up, warrior three. Exhale, lower down, slowly and with control if you can. Inhale to rise. Exhale, lower, right leg lifts. Inhale, come up. Whew. Exhale, hands go flat to the mat, right foot steps down, step your feet nice and wide, turn your toes out, squat your butt down. Whew. From here, you're going to take your hands behind you, set your butt down on the mat. So your hands are underneath your shoulders. It does not matter which way your fingers are facing. Your feet are a little bit wider than hips width. You're just going to windshield wiper your knees back and forth. And then from here, bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open up nice and wide. You can stay seated, or you can fold forwards. Wherever you are, close your eyes. Take one deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Good. Next inhale is a little bit slower. Good. Next inhale is a little bit deeper. Exhale, let it go. Next inhale is a little bit more controlled, a little more smooth. So hopefully by now you have found your calm quality of breath, if you lost it in that last vinyasa. So if you folded forwards, you're going to come all the way up to a neutral spine. You're going to lean onto your left hip. Keep your left leg where it is, and you're just going to swing that right leg around. And then you're going to wiggle that left foot so that your shin is parallel with the front of the mat. And you want to get that right foot behind you as much as it is comfortable. Now you can hang out right here, or you can twist to the left a little bit, or you can fold forwards. It's whatever feels good for you. And you're just going to enjoy the stretch in the outside of your left hip and the front of your right hip. Gently start to come up. You're going to swing that right leg around. Bring your knees into your chest. Bring your feet to the mat. Tuck your chin into your chest, and you're just going to enjoy this modification of child's pose, this seated child's pose. And if you are whooped, you can hang out right here. If you want to challenge yourself, you can rock back onto your sit bones, lifting your feet up off the mat. Then you can stay right here. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, maybe you start to extend your legs, either grabbing the back of your thighs or reaching your hands out in front of you. How much you extend your legs is totally up to you. Now you can hang out right here, or you can drop down onto your low back, keeping your shoulder blades up off the mat. If you're here, you're going to bring your fingertips to your ears. Your knees are bent. And you're going to reach your left elbow to your right knee. Extend your right arm, or your left arm, sorry. And as you exhale, you're going to pulse. But you're going to take short, choppy exhales. So, and then when you can't exhale anymore, inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, right elbow to left knee. As you inhale, you're going to extend that right arm. And as you exhale, take short, choppy pulses. Inhale, center. Exhale, left elbow, right knee. Inhale, extend that left arm. Exhale, pulse. Inhale, center. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. Inhale, extend your right arm. Exhale, pulse. Inhale, center. You're going to rock and roll back up to boat pose, meaning anyone that skipped to that. You're going to bring your knees into your chest, feet down onto the mat, back into that seated child's pose, meaning anyone that skipped all of that. And then you're going to bring the soles of your feet together, knees open nice and wide. Bring the weight onto your right hip so you can swing that left leg around. Wiggle that right foot to the left so that your shin is parallel with your mat. Hang out here. Twist to the right or lower down. It's whatever feels good for you. Once you find a comfortable spot, bring your focus back to your breath. Find that quality of breath that you found in the beginning of class. Notice the stretch in the outside of your right hip, your gluteus medius that you were working in all those wide-legged chair poses, and the front of your left hip and your hip flexors. And we were lifting up in those standing splits. Gently start to press your way back up. Keep the weight on your right hip so you can swing that left leg around. You're going to roll all the way onto your back. Bring your knees to touch. With your knees touching, you're going to wiggle your feet nice and wide. Bring your right hand to your belly, your left hand to your heart. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Wiggle your feet back together. Arms come out to the sides. You're going to drop your knees to the right, look to the left for a full spinal twist. Bring your knees up to center, drop them to the left as you look to the right. Come to center once more. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, release. All right. Thank you very much. That is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed class. If you did, if you made it to this point, I ask that you donate to either Venmo or PayPal by searching The Wild Child Yogi. And, I post everything on YouTube so that it is accessible to everyone, not just those who can afford it, but my time should still be valued. So I appreciate any donations. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.